Growth Point Kings Park in Durban is the host stadium for the opening game of the Absa Currie Cup Premier Division 2013. Last year's losing finalist, the Sharks, hosting Griquas on the 9th of August, Women's Day. And women from around Durban have got free tickets for this game and their accompanied children as well. It's a cold winter's night, a little bit uncharacteristic for this time of year in Durban. But the stage set for the start of the Absa Currie Cup Premier Division season. We're hoping that the rain does stay away. The wind is coming from where the rain does come from the south here. But we're set for the start of Absa Currie Cup, a competition with a rich heritage and history.
This is the most coveted trophy in South African rugby, the Currie Cup. At Newlands, Cape Town, there's a large crowd to see who wins. Transvaal, winners of the northern section of the tournament, are meeting Western Province, winners of the southern section. Western Province has held the Currie Cup for 17 years, and Transvaal think that's far too long.
This is dangerous. Papakanutsa could score here. He's going to score. Yes, he has. Papakanutsa has scored for Western Province. That's Michael du Plessis. Hoffman Heerden. Michael du Plessis again. Back into Carlos Scholz. Carlos Scholz. I think he can score here. Yes, he's going to score. And he goes. Carlos Scholz. Now for another drop goal attempt. Wait for it. It looks good. It looks beautiful. It's there. Northfooter, his third drop goal, and the scores are level again.
The Transvaal forwards come into the picture, and the score is levelled at 9-all as Jan Lotz dives over. This truly is the battle of the giants, with both sides playing inspired football.
And hier hebben we een as. Michael du Plessis en Hempels Rodemeyer is going to score. He will score. Hempels Rodemeyer. This is Van Heerden. Great running by the captain. This is going to be a try for Johan Roy.
Absa Currie Cup champions in extraordinary and dramatic style. When Sir Donald Currie donated the Golden Trophy in 1891, I wonder if he had any idea how this competition would capture the imaginations of South Africa's rugby public. Western Province winning the trophy for the 32nd time in 2012. The Blue Bulls with 23 titles. The Sharks here this evening have won 7. And these are the 6 teams who will contest the Premier Division in 2013. The Blue Bulls and Western Province play each other in Cape Town tomorrow. The Free State Cheetahs against the Golden Lions in round 1. And here this evening, the first match in this Premier Division, the Sharks against Griquas, live from Growth Point Kings Park in Durban. Griquas, based in the northern Cape town of Kimberley, making their way to the stadium a little earlier on and being briefed by referee Jason Jufta. It's an important couple of weeks in this Absa Currie Cup Premier Division. with the new scrum engagement in effect and the scrum halves having to put the ball in straight. Puta Himan, the Griquas coach, spoke to us when he arrived. Puta, a tough start to the campaign, away against last year's finalists, but you've had some good pre-season games to get you to this point.
Yes, it's not the same in Currie Cup. I mean, we know the Sharks and the Shark Tank. Last year, our last game here, we took a big hiding. So we know we're in for a tough game. Pre-season, yes, we had a long pre-season, 3 months waiting for this. While the Sharks were playing Super Rugby, we were doing conditioning and skill development. But I'm really looking forward to it. I think there's a few youngsters that are really looking forward to play Currie Cup for Griquas.
From a coaching perspective, how much of a difference has this new scrum engagement been in your preparations?
Luckily for us, we had 3 games preparing for this, so I think it will work at the end. The players must just adapt, and the referees must adapt. So I'm really looking forward to see what's going to happen tonight.
You got some new faces in your squad and some exciting backline players as well.
Yes, definitely. Gous Prinsloo at Varsity Sharks is with us at fullback, a very exciting player. And then Howard Nishi from NMU played Varsity Cup earlier the year. Now suddenly he's playing Currie Cup. A huge opportunity for him. And then it's great to have a guy like Hilton Roberts back with us. I coached him at the Bulls a couple of years ago. He left for Italy and he came back. He's in a very, very good form, and I'm really looking forward to see him.
Your form at your home stadium in Kimberley has always been fantastic in the Currie Cup. Is it about now turning that into away form as well?
No, definitely. If we want to say we want to compete and play maybe in a semi-final, we have to win some away games. And maybe, I hope tonight is maybe the night.
Well, Puta Himan made mention of Gous Prinsloo. Scored 134 points for the Sharks, 15. A lot of those on this ground in the Vodacom Cup 2012. He's moved to Kimberley, a 2012 Vodacom Cup Player of the Year nominee, and now playing in the colours of Griquas. Jean Daisel on the side of the scrum this evening, and Jason Jafta briefing the Sharks front row. A new coach for the Sharks for this campaign, Brad McLeod-Henderson. Brad, a massive challenge for you personally lying ahead, but what goals have you set for this Currie Cup campaign?
Well, obviously, Matt, it's a fantastic opportunity. It's a fantastic competition. Obviously, we want to be there at the end of the day on the 26th of October, but it's a long path to get there, and it starts tonight. We've got a very tough game against Griquas. Luckily, we're at home, but it's a tough start, and hopefully we get out of the blocks nice and fast.
With the players that you've lost to international duty, are you happy with the depth of the squad that you've got?
Yes, no, I mean, we're very fortunate here in Durban. We've got a lot of fantastic players, and it's good. Guys being away gives other guys opportunities. So it's been great today to see how those guys take the opportunities.
Not ideal to lose your skipper in your first game. What was the problem?
Yeah, Keegan's just got a bit of a knee niggle that never really settled this week, so it's a big loss for us. But we're very fortunate that Jacques Boertes is a fantastic player, he's very experienced, and he slots right in and he comes in as captain as well. So it's a great opportunity for him, but missing Keegan, we'll certainly miss Keegan.
Without giving too much away, what can we expect different from the Sharks this season?
Yeah, look, I mean, we obviously we don't want to say too much, but I mean, we're looking to try and play rugby in the right areas and try and play rugby when it's on. Hopefully the boys are excited. We're trying to try a few new things, and hopefully they come off today.
Brad McLeod-Henderson there making a mention of Jacques Boertes, who was not originally named in the matchday 22, but with the injury to Keegan Daniel, Boertes came straight into the starting lineup, into the number 8 jersey, and takes the captaincy this evening as well. So this is how Griquas line up, captained by Reino Barnes in the middle of the front row. Lichtoring Landman, who was a stalwart for the Cheetahs in their Super Rugby campaign this season. He lines up alongside Hilton Roberts, a new acquisition to Griquas from Western Province. And an exciting backline. Gous Prinsloo at fullback. Howard Mnisi makes his Currie Cup debut. Nico Skeepers played his previous Currie Cup rugby for the Cheetahs. PJ Vermeulen, a former SA Schools player, on the left wing. And then Jacques Coetzee and Francois Brimmer, the halfback pairing. For the Sharks, Jacques Boertes captaining from the back of the scrum, making up the loose trio with Brainard Stander and Jean Daisel. Massive experience in the halfbacks with Charles McLeod and Butch James taking control of things there. Odwin Ngani selected at fullback, and perhaps something that will prolong his career ever so slightly. And although the Sharks have lost an entire Springbok front row in the Duplessis brothers and Beeston Tawarira. They can call on Dale Chadwick, Kyle Cooper and Vion Herbst. Experience on the bench as well for the Sharks, especially in the front row with Craig Burden and Reino Gerber. And then Kobus Reinach, Fred Zeilinger, fantastic player for the Sharks in the Vodacom Cup, and Rocco Janssen, who's moved around the provinces over the years, an emerging Springbok in 2008. He's on the bench for Griquas this evening. And as Reino Barnes prepares to lead the visitors out, it's time to say a very warm welcome in commentary to a man who's very familiar with the surroundings here at Kings Park, but we've had to tell him that language in a coach's box isn't appropriate necessarily in a commentary box. Very good evening to John Plumtree.
Good evening, Matthew. It's great to be here. Thanks very much. I'm really looking forward to this contest. You know, the Griquas side's always very tough, and the Sharks looking to get off to a big start tonight.
Well, Reino Barnes playing his 78th Absa Currie Cup match this evening. Started off his career with Western Province, then moved on to the Falco for a 2-year stint in 2007-2008. And then to Griquas in 2009. 22 Super Rugby matches for the Cheetahs. And there is Gous Prinsloo in his new colours, having moved from the Sharks here in Durban, where he's been an outstanding contributor in the Vodacom Cup competition. And now Jacques Boertes to lead out the Sharks in his 135th Currie Cup match. An extraordinary record, a wonderful servant of Sharks rugby. He will wear the number 8 jersey this evening, the Sharks skipper, having replaced Keegan Daniel. The balance of the back row made up by Jean Duisel and Brainard Stander. Odwa Ndungane started his first-class career back in 2000, so into his 14th season, and Tim Whitehead returning from injury, sustained an injury in a pre-season friendly before Super Rugby. Great to have him back for the Sharks. Jason Jafta is the referee, and with us sideline this evening is Bob Skinstad.
And just watching the heavens for a potential downfall right now, but nothing is going to dampen the enthusiasm of these two teams taking off in the Currie Cup. It's going to be a clash to start that'll set the tone for the rest of the tournament for both of them.
Butch James, 42 Test Springbok in his 60th Currie Cup game this evening, coming towards the end of his career, but massive experience that he can impart on the new players in this Sharks team under a new coaching staff as well. Early kick not being cleared to touch, and Odwa Ndungane with his first touch in the fullback position. Charles McLeod, outstanding in the Super Rugby competition in the scrum half berth. Really healthy rivalry between him and Kobus Reinach for the starting position. Early turnover here for Griquas, and a first touch in Currie Cup rugby for Howard Mnisi. He performed so well for the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University in this year's Varsity Cup, earned himself a contract with Griquas and into the Cheetahs Super Rugby side at a late stage in the season as well. Skewing off the side of Odwa Ndungane's boot, and a chance for Griquas to counter-attack here. Quickly through the hands of Mnisi. That looked forward. It was indeed. The pass to Burger Skuman going forward, but Griquas showing some excellent early intent with ball in hand.
Yeah, look, I think there might have been a penalty at the last breakdown there. Looked like there's some legs involved there. Should have been a penalty to the Sharks, but Griquas not really using that turnover ball to best effect. Yeah, I think just coming through there, looked like it should have been picked up.
Thank you.
The ball shifted quickly through the hands. Burger Skuman.
First scrum of the Currie Cup in the new format, and we'll hear Jason Jafta changing the tone that the referee's going to be talking to that front row and the sequence of events.
Point. Set. Forward.
Pretty good pressure applied by that Griquas front row. Lawrence Arianza, excellent for the Cheetahs this season in the tight head position, earning himself a call up to the Springbok squad, not getting a cap in the incoming series. Another turnover for Griquas here. Dropped onto the boot. And the chase on here for Nico Skeepers. Back goes Mvovo. Taken out into touch. Lots of energy from Griquas.
I think it's pretty clear to see what the Griquas plan is tonight. They're really looking to upset the Sharks at breakdown. Another turnover there, untidy ball for the Sharks side. And Charles not really having a great opportunity to clear that possession tonight. You see there, Ranak Herber doing a really good job picking the ball up, Hilton Hobbits, and then that early position. It was a great opportunity for Griquas.
And a good line-out ball taken by Lichtoren Landman, and quickly shuffled back for Marnus Skuman at the back of this maul. Plenty of momentum. The try is scored. Well, they did the basics well there to score the opening try of the game after just 3 minutes. It was Marnus Skuman, the flanker, who was in control at the tail, and it looked as though it was he who got the ball down. The early work done by Landman, outstanding.
Yeah, if you look at that line out, Griquas got great ball. It's middle ball, which is the best to drive from. And it looked like the Sharks tried the sack and were unsuccessful, and that led to big problems for the Sharks. So it was a well-organised drive and a great start for Griquas. So you see there, just they're able to get a formation, a good tight formation, and really the Sharks not organised enough to defend that middle of the line-out ball that the Griquas was able to get, and really an easy try for them.
So Marnus Skuman with his 9th try in Currie Cup rugby. Started his Currie Cup career with the Blue Bulls back in 2009. Moving to Griquas last year. Now Nico Skeepers. Pretty difficult angle for him. The assistants are happy. Ruben Rousseau and Rasta Rashavega, so an emphatic start from Griquas.
Well, it was a case of everybody doing their jobs, and after Landman had taken that ball, the tight forwards are in and around him, and Marnus Skuman just had to fall over it for the 5-pointer.
Deep restart from the Sharks. A very efficient clearance.
Well, certainly that was a lot better than the last clearance from Griquas. Odway was able to counter-attack and put the Griquas under a bit of pressure, but that ball going straight into touch.
Another difficult and awkward ball for Charles McLeod. The pass eventually going forward. The delivery, both at ruck time and from that line out.
Yeah, it's just the little things letting the Sharks down at the moment. A couple of untidy clearances from the rucks. A set-piece ball. That was good ball. And, just a poor delivery. And, Charlotte once again under pressure. Charlotte probably should have held on to that.
So first scrum feed for Griquas, Jacques Coetzee. Went from the Pumas to the Eastern Province Kings, and now at Griquas. Excellent momentum for the Griquas scrum. Jason Jafta showing a penalty advantage. Nisi. No advantage there. Back they come for the penalty. Some early set-piece issues for the home side.
Thanks.
Yeah, well, once again, the Sharks set-piece not good enough on that occasion. If you have a look at the Sharks front row there, after the engagement, coming up a little bit high, and I guess what will happen there with the Greek was just able to get underneath them, and that Vion Herbst coming up high there and really putting the rest of the pack under pressure. You see there, Vion just hips a little bit high and under pressure, and that was a really, really good scrum from all the Griquas, all 8 scrummaging, and looked a little bit untidy at the back there from the number 8 there, but really the damage was done.
Steph Roberts on the loose head side for Griquas, very experienced man, playing his 49th Currie Cup game this evening. He spent 3 seasons in the colours of the Free State Cheetahs. Kutsia for Amnisi in midfield. Does well to get the offload away in the tackle. Kutsia now with a change of direction. Rano Barnes, hard-working hooker and captain for Griquas. Kutsia, Brummer this time. Jean Duisel very quickly up on defence, made the spot tackle, stopping that Griquas attack in its tracks. Amnisi. Some hard work on defence from Jacques Botha, Sharks captain on the night. But a penalty. Jason Jufta was playing advantage, the Sharks not rolling away from that tackle.
Yeah, well, the Sharks looked very organised defensively, didn't they? The Greek was trying to go to midfield in a switched play, and you know, if you have a look at this here, this is a good double tackle here, and but yeah, just a little bit of indiscipline there by number 5, Marco, I think, and you know, that was I guess what the penalty was for.
Yeah, Marco Wenzel, the man penalised, returning to Currie Cup rugby after 49 games with Leeds and 51 matches for Wasps over in the UK, 34 years of age. Nico Skeppers to put Griquas into a 10-point lead. Well, he liked it immediately. And utterly convincing from Griquas so far. Well, not even 9 minutes into the game, a very tough start for Charles McLeod.
Yeah, well, you know, he's been under a little bit of pressure there, and you see right now you're tracking him from behind there. You know, poor delivery there, put him under a little bit of pressure, but Charles will get better, he's got a lot of experience.
Much better kickoff from the Sharks, putting Griquas under all sorts of pressure. Fabulous rucking as well. Wenzel did well on the ground, then Hewitt. Now McLeod, a little bit of miscommunication. Brainard Stander eventually consolidating that possession, but just giving Griquas defence a little bit of time to reorganise on that short side. Ripped away in the tackle there. Kutsia, back for Brummer. Sharks defensive line very quickly up, nowhere for Brummer to go. Griquas doing really well to get men behind that ball, create a second platform. This is Prinsloo against a number of his old teammates, clearing safely.
Just a bit of wind in the stadium, guys, as well. Close Prinsloo with a nice clearance there, but it's a swirling wind. We've been told by all the groundsmen that it's bringing the rain, hopefully going to keep it away for the moment. Maybe Plum's got a bit of insight, but certainly difficult to get a decent clearance on the ball.
Well, now the call is not straight, and scrums and lineouts are a major issue for the Sharks at the moment.
Time off.
Yeah, there's some good pressure there, and you know, that was just probably just a poor throw from Kyle there, and you know, they're just failing a little bit at set piece at the moment. I think the Sharks just need to settle down a little bit nervous. They look a little bit nervous. You know, it's a big game for them. There's a few youngsters on that side, and it might just take 15-20 minutes for them to. But they, you know, they just missed out on a real nice opportunity down around the 22. Good turnover ball from the counter ruck, and you know, coughed that possession up. But I hope they'll get better soon.
At the bottom of your screen there, during the course of this game, just some of the records that have been set over the incredible history of this competition. The cup donated by Sir Donald Currie in 1891 as a trophy to be awarded to the first team to beat the first ever British touring side to South Africa. No one beat the British tourists.
Okay, it's been a call mark now.
They remained unbeaten on the tour, but the first Currie Cup was awarded to Griquas.
It's been a call mark.
Voted by the British tourists as being the best side that they played against. And since then, plenty of magical moments. 9 seconds, the fastest try from a kickoff just last year.
Thank you.
Leopards and Cavaliers in a first division game.
Yep, ons werk nog steeds van daai standaard. Crouch!
So Bjorn Herbst on this near side for the Sharks up against Steph Roberts.
Bind! Set!
Well, that didn't look very straight to me. That referees said they were going to be very strict on the ball going in. Arrow straight. Mnisi bouncing off the first defender, getting his pass away. He's made a bright start as Howard Mnisi in his first Currie Cup appearance, and Jean Daisel has stayed down after trying to make the tackle.
Well, guys, I can see him getting back to his feet. He looks very groggy there.
No clear release. He made the tackle and stood up with the ball.
But it was that tackle on Mnisi who just managed to brush up, I think, just on the inside, possibly the angle there for Jean Daisel. You can see he'll fall off him right here. Just caught that point of the shoulder on the top of the head, and he's come off pretty badly there, Jean Daisel.
Yeah, Johnny Daisel just getting his tackle technique just slightly out there, and see it hit his neck there, and that's how he really stunned him. But I'll tell you something, this Howard Mnisi has actually had a really good start to this game, hasn't he?
Very bright start. Was part of the youth system here in KwaZulu-Natal before going to Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University, where he really caught the eye in this year's Varsity Cup. Fantastic penalty kick taken as well to set up this line out. This is where they scored from.
Well, the Sharks are going to have to get really low here and keep the Griquas side out because they love driving.
And that's Jaco Nevgen at the front of the line-out this time. A little variation. But it is Marnus Skuman, the try scorer, who's quickly put in position at the tail of the maul. Twisting and turning. Sharks getting bodies under the ball, and they've done extremely well.
Number 4.
Well, you can expect them to go again in the corner here. It might be with Marco, contesting in the middle, maybe giving the Griquas the front ball, and then the Sharks hammering in them towards touch. Right now, they're not really doing a good job at contesting at the line.
Okay.
Just a little bit of news from the side of the field, guys, and the Griquas are one man down because of an incident that happened at the line-out drive. Here, it's Lichtoring Landman has just walked past me. Sorry, concentrating on this replay here. Lichtoring Landman just walked past me. The Griquas haven't replaced him, but he's just gone back into the change room to have his thumb relocated. He's had a dislocated thumb, but it's not a blood injury, so they couldn't put someone else on the field. So this is why they're not taking another line out, and they're going to take this one for polls, and it's another opportunity for Nico Skeepers. I'll give you a heads up when I see him coming back up the tunnel.
Well, if that's a broken thumb, he's going to be playing this game under a lot of pain.
Nico Skeepers successful with his first 2 kicks. The conversion of Marnus Skuman's try was from almost exactly this spot. So a good idea of how it will respond. He's judged it beautifully, sneaking it inside the right-hand upright. And the Griquas full value for their 13-point lead.
Yeah, well, they're applying pressure, aren't they? And they're putting pressure on the Sharks' breakdown. They're putting pressure at set piece. I guess those are the opportunities that they saw earlier. That possibly it's where they put the Sharks under pressure, and right now it's working for them.
The Sharks' restarts just creeping shorter and shorter. With obstruction now.
Obstruction 1. From kickoff, he went in
Hilton
front of
Roberts,
you.
who went up to claim the ball, and it was Steph Roberts called out by referee Jason Jafta as the guilty party.
Shot called.
Yeah, you can just see Steph probably sealing off that jumper and acting as some type of obstruction. They'll be disappointed with that because it's something that they would practice during the week, and certainly that's a pretty simple penalty for the referee to pick up. Over
100 first-class games. He put his 49 Currie Cup appearances and Vodacom Cup as well. SA Students team, Steph Roberts in 2007. Now Butch James, 444 points in Currie Cup rugby. Very simple approach to the ball, and the Sharks are on the board, hitting back immediately with a penalty of their own, which will settle the nerves. Jonathan Ardendorf is coming on now.
And I can't say too much about the injury, Matt, but it looks like Landman has tried to relocate that thumb, and Plum was 100% correct. It looks like it's either broken or completely dislocated, so he's been replaced and Ardendorf's on the field.
Well, a massive loss for Griquas. Landman really growing in stature as a second row forward at a very high level, in partnership with Luat de Jager for the Cheetahs during Super Rugby. Part of a very effective tight five in that competition. The Sharks really building with some confidence now. Fabulous maul from the restart, and Kyle Cooper, the man in control at the tail. And still they rumble on. Griquas defence disintegrating in the face of a powerful surge. James, little dink over the top, and Nisi drops back. But Jason Jafta was playing an advantage. The Sharks not prepared to be bullied on their home patch.
Four intricate move. Okay.
Butch James opting for the kick to touch. Will have taken great heart from the strength of that drive and looking to set it up again from this line-out.
What an absolute great way to get back into this game, isn't it? You know, it was a poor kick-off from Griquas, and, you know, that drive was something really special and nice and controlled. Look at the height of those bodies, you know, really, really working hard together. Now they've got an opportunity to strike straight back with this line-out 6 or 7 metres out.
In the middle of the line-out they go for Marco Wenzel, the tallest target in this Sharks pack. Ardendorf working hard to try and curtail that maul, eventually brought to ground, but illegally, says Jason Jafta. Chadwick standing off this ruck. Can afford to take it through the phases here, but no, not going to hand, so they will come back for the penalty.
3, Leipzig.
Penalty against Lawrence Adrianza for collapsing that maul. Such a difficult thing to defend.
Oh, absolutely. And South African side's so good at doing that driving maul. You know, and without a doubt, Butchie's going to go in the corner here and give the boys another crack. You know, the confidence will come up now. You can see the forwards getting excited, you know, talking more now. You know, Griquas did a pretty good job here actually stopping that, but obviously Jason saw something there in that corner.
This time to the front of the line-out for Edwin Hewitt. Effectively dealt with. The Sharks opting to try and reset them all. Is available for McLeod. Roberts hitting the ruck hard just to try and unsettle McLeod at the base. Daisel. A wonderful hit on Daisel. He's not showing any after effects of that big knock he took to the head. Skuman was offside.
Green! Leave it, ball's on the ground. Penalty advantage.
McLeod this time to the short side. James looked as though he was trying to drop it onto the boot. Warning coming here from Jason Jafta.
He's got blood here on 1 green. No, 3 green, blood.
Well, there's a little bit of an altercation going on the other side there with Jacques Coetzee and Butch James, but Jason Jafta just having a word with Reno Bonds. Lawrence Adrianza it was that made a big hit on John Daisel there, and that's probably where he got or sustained that injury.
We're back here.
Nick Shonett will come on
Okay.
and replace him. And this time it is a blood bin, so legitimate replacement. But Butch James has changed his tune and ready to go for the three-pointer.
Nick Shonett, a former Shark himself, having moved to Kimberley, now replacing Lawrence Adriansa. Butch James, one penalty to his name so far. This one an even easier attempt. The first one was from just outside the 22, but on the right side of the field. And just clawing back. Converted try. Now the difference between the two sides, and the Sharks just, after a couple of nervy moments early on, just regaining some composure.
Yeah, well, it's good to see the pack have a couple of really good moments, that drive from the restart, and obviously a couple of opportunities in the corner.
Ball still in front. More now. Use it once.
Well, the Sharks showing great confidence in their maul. They did this from the previous restart. Lovett's trying to burst through the middle of that maul to stem its flow. Now it comes back for McLeod. Skuman for Prinsloo. Burger Skuman this time, and that was from outside the 22. Unforced error from Prinsloo, putting the Sharks straight back onto attack.
Yeah, it was interesting there. You know, again, it was not a great kickoff from the Griquas and really allowing the Sharks to get another drive going on. And this is probably just a nervous start for young Coast Prinsloo, sorry. And you know, it gives the Sharks another real opportunity. You know, only 15-20 metres out from the try line.
Front ball again for Edwin Hewitt. Who impressed when he joined the Sharks Super Rugby side towards the end of the season, filling in the second row, carrying that form on now in the first Currie Cup game of the 2013 season. McLeod for James, and the cross kick here for Siso Maseko, all on the bounce of the ball, and a foot in touch. Quick opportunity to catch up with Keegan Daniel, who was originally named as captain of the side today. He's pitch side with Bob Skinstad.
Keegan's with me right now, and it wasn't the best start you've ever seen, but certainly the scales seem to be tipped back in the favour of the Sharks with this momentum.
Yeah, we struggled a little bit early on in the game. You know, we turned over quite a bit of ball, and they created you know, territory into points.
Beginning of the Currie Cup, this is about South African derbies. This is one where the Sharks have found it difficult to win away from home, but they've turned the Griquas over here more often than not. You confident of that tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot to do in the last few weeks. You know, confident that if we stick to our structure and our game plan, that we could pull through. You know, it was a bit of a shaky start, but yeah, I think we can pull it out in the end. Yeah.
Good man. Good luck for the rest of the game.
Cheers, thanks, Bob.
So Keegan Daniel just struggling with a little bit of a knee injury. We saw him withdraw from the side and replaced at number 8 and in the captaincy role by Jacques Boertes. Sharks with a very promising attacking scrum position here. Big blind side to work with. Siso Maseko on the right wing. He was the man who got that potential little opportunity a few minutes ago from the Butch James cross kick. Got some electrifying pace, and he's got some space to work with here on the right.
Well, this is going to be a great opportunity for the Sharks, isn't it? Just 5 or 6 metres out with such great space both sides of the scrum. It'll be really interesting to see what option they take here. But if you have a look at just in the driving structures that the Sharks are doing 10 metres out from the try line, Louis Luddick's coming in to join that drive, and it's going to Butch. It's actually leaving on one back short, so that's why Butch is putting those cross kicks across field.
Time back on. Scrum green. Roll. Use it or lose it.
Guys, just off
Yes, sir.
camera there, Jason Jafta actually apologised. He incorrectly made the decision with the Sharks ball going forward. The maul has been
Sorry,
given.
my mistake. Screen ball.
It's the Griquas ball. He's just apologised for the mistake that he made. So, little basics on the rules there, but he's smiling and laughing about it. I'm sure the Sharks guys are a bit disappointed.
Thank you.
Well, they might be,
Crouch.
but good that he was able to rectify his own mistake. He certainly
Bind.
showed it the way of the Sharks when first awarding it. It was scrum. It's been very solid so far. Just a little bit of a momentum shift though in the game in the last
Closer
10
setup,
minutes.
please. Closer setup, please.
I said a little bit of a momentum shift. How's that? 97% of the ball in the last 10 minutes. It's a monstrous momentum shift.
Carry on, wait. Thank you. Crouch. Bind. Sit. Steady ball.
Well, plenty of pressure applied by the Griquas scrum and almost got away with them at the base though.
Use it.
Good pressure from Charles McLeod on the kick of Francois Brimmer.
Yeah, I think the Griquas will be a little bit disappointed with that scrum. You know, the scrum's been functioning really well and so far in this game, and you know, to apply that, give that much pressure, concede that much pressure that close to the line would be disappointing for them.
Sharks line out functioning a lot better now after 2 early misses and a skew throw. Wenzel moving around that line out as well. He's popped up at the front and in the middle. McLeod, Chadwick. Cleaners there just in time. Stander. It's a good tackle from Jacques Coetzee on Branhart Stander, but Vian Herbst there to continue the momentum for the Sharks. Daisel. So strong in the upper body, wrestling that ball free for the ruck, and Volvo. Now Chadwick, plenty of phases from the Sharks, not making much territorial headway yet. Now an opportunity. Louis Ludik almost managing to step through the tackle. James, cut out pass for Maseko. Has to back himself, into the corner he goes. Well, the Sharks are celebrating Sizo Maseko
Time off, please.
on his Currie Cup debut.
Second, Ross.
Certain that he has
Okay.
scored.
Time off. Willie, can you hear me? Just a possible knock there with that last tackle. Could you please have a look at that? Otherwise, we're happy. What happened after that? Okay.
I'll have a look.
Thank you.
So there was a message from Rasta Rashavenga, the assistant referee on the far side, that at a previous ruck there may have been a knock-on. You can go back 2 phases. So Willie Roos is the TMO who's being called upon to adjudicate. The Sharks have all gone back
Well done.
to halfway. Well, that's the knock-on he's talking about.
Isn't it? Yeah. Well, that's really disappointing, isn't it,
Yeah.
for the Sharks, because you know that was a
Jason?
really nice
Yes, Willie.
sustained
The ball was
period of
lost
pressure they
forward
applied there. You know,
by
same
9.
some
Thank
same
you.
way plays
So
off
I'm going
9.
no try, I'm going back
crossing
forward.
the
No try,
advantage
scrum,
line,
green ball.
giving some really nice ball, and you know, one-on-one for
Goes
Sizo there. PJ Mueller will be very disappointed with his defence in that right-hand corner, but you know, what a great little opportunity El Sizo took there.
Oh, disappointment for
17
Sizo
green.
Maseko.
17. 17.
Nick Schonert is coming off. That's Lawrence Adrianza in a new jersey. 3 becomes 23.
You can see, Dale Chadwick there targeting the outside C defender, great fast ball. A little slip there, and that was actually looked like a little leg trip from Rano Kerber there, didn't he? Just it was lovely play, and Butch recognised where the space was, and just Cizo standing up his man and finishing in the corner beautifully.
Steady, ball.
As you say, PJ Vermeulen with plenty to think about after copping that hand off.
Flanker!
More dominance from the Griquas scrum though.
Up first.
You can see Lawrence Odionte with the experience that he's bringing into that front row there. Dale Chadwick just under a little bit of pressure. Lawrence made a big difference to that front row, hasn't he?
Been a lot of talk during the week about how the new engagement sequence requires tight heads to improve their scrumming technique dramatically. So far we're seeing a bit of a masterclass from Lawrence Odionte.
Yeah, absolutely, and the Griquas back five are working really hard, aren't they? You look at the height, and I think that's probably where the Sharks get a little bit better. Their locks look a little bit high.
Set. Steady, ball.
Controlled at the back by Burger Skuman. But the penalty has gone against Griquas, and quick to pounce on the Sharks. Pick and drive from Buertes. Try awarded. Razor sharp reaction. While the forwards were involved in a scuffle, they were quick to take the tap penalty when it was a gift of 3 points, and Jacques Buertes rounds it off with his 42nd try.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, Charles just using all the experience he had, and just creating that quick ball, and I thought that was just some great awareness from Charlie there. All the forwards, Griquas forwards standing around asking questions, and he's ready to play.
We've got to have a chat with the man originally named as Captain, Keegan Daniel, a little earlier. Amazing to think that you can call upon a man to replace him as captain in a mini crisis, who's got 134 Currie Cup caps and over 100 in Super Rugby as well in Jacques Buertes. Just slots seamlessly in to the Sharks pattern. Butch James adds the extra 2, and we're all square on the half-hour mark at 13 apiece.
Yeah, I think it looks to me like the Sharks want to up the tempo of this game where they can. Historically, this is where we put Griquas under pressure. Again, great awareness from Charlie. Quick tap, quick, good, clean ruck ball, and Griquas couldn't recover defensively.
Restart from Prinsloo. McLeod couldn't gather, but lost it backwards. And his clearance kick swirling around in the wind. Awkward ball for Coetzee. And now it's the turn of Griquas to tap and go quickly through Marnus Skuman. They weren't back the 10 metres. Mnisi. Now Brummer kicking for the corner. It's speculative at best. He knew there was a penalty advantage.
One, 10 metres.
And immediately Reino Barnes indicating that Griquas will have a shot at goal, having been 13 points to the good. Sharks have clawed their way back superbly.
Yeah, I think it'll be a little bit annoying there for the Sharks that they didn't exit out of their 22 a little bit cleanly, and that Charlie had to rush a contestable kick, which Griquas counter-attacked, and the penalty was conceded.
Nico Skeppers has been solid with the boot at 100%, and the little quick take there from the Griquas, just getting them the advantage of their accurate man in front of the uprights. Just feeling a few little drops of rain here, won't affect him now on this kick, but could be a different story in the second half.
Skippers makes no mistake, splitting the uprights to put Griquas back in front. Patrick Lambie, having returned from Springbok training camp in Johannesburg. Most of the Springboks have been gathered there for much of this week, and will be joined next week by those based in Europe and elsewhere. James's restart carrying just inside the 22. You got sufficient cover down there, Bob, if the rain does come?
Well, not quite yet. I'm a little bit concerned. I will be looking around me. I had to make sure I got out of the way of that ball. This line-out's going to be right in front of me. Marco Wenzel taking some real control here in terms of the calls, etc., calming everybody down.
Over.
Cancel.
Well, it is Marco Wenzel towering above everybody else at the front of that line-out. Griquas have found a way to curtail this drive early on. Got hit by a couple of very powerful Sharks mauls as they made their way back into the game, but dealing with this effectively.
Yeah, you can see there was a good throw from Kyle there. Marco getting good ball, but you know, Charlie possibly should have distributed that to give it to a bigger carrier to take it into that breakdown. He must have spotted a little hole or something, but you know, Griquas was good enough to hold him up.
Don't want any angles. Everyone to travel straight now, please.
Jacques Wittes with number 8 on his back, but packing on the blindside flank at scrum time with Jean Duisel at the back. Tero Mthembu
Steady. Ball.
on the bench for the Sharks. Had some telling contributions during the Super Rugby campaign. Great prospect for the Sharks. Francois Brummer with the wind at his back, trying to make use of it, and Odwin Ngani returning with ball in hand. Griquas looked to be up offside in the line, but Louis Ludik taking advantage. A little disjointed on defence there, Griquas. Didn't come up as a uniform line, and that created the space on the outside for Ludik. Good carry from Duisel yet again. Undungani. Adrian Herbst. Adriansa went good and low in the tackle. Wittes. That trademark scrum cap of his, the black and red. Herbst with another telling carry through the hands of Duisel and James. Whitehead for Maseko.
Advantage 11, no clear release.
And the penalty comes for the Sharks. It's against PJ Vermeulen.
No clear release and off feet.
Interesting call here. Just a little glance from Butch James to his skipper, and they go into the corner, sensing that momentum is heading their way.
Well, absolutely. So there's a couple of times now that you know, the Sharks have been able to build some momentum. You know, 15, 20 metres out from the try line. You know, they're getting a little bit more confident now, and you know, keen to drive.
Wenzel doing extremely well to hang on there. And the scrum going the way of Griquas, but that was down to the inaccuracy of the throw.
Yeah, look, it looked like the timing was just out of the little bit there. It didn't look like Marco got in the air that high, and you know, Griquas was able to sack him really early, and you know, they couldn't get their drive established, and hence, you know, obviously Griquas got their hands on it and held them up.
Did pretty well to get it at all in the end. But Jonathan Ardendorf was working hard in there. He replaced Lichtour and Landman in the second row early in this game.
Bind. Set. Steady. 9, not in threaded strong.
We've seen our first free kick of the Currie Cup season for the ball not being put into the scrum straight. Really unnecessary for Griquas to do that, such as the dominance of their scrum so far. But the Sharks getting a let-off.
Stay on!
Having opted to kick for goal and not completing the line-out. They have a chance for retribution here. Almost all the Sharks players within 10 metres of this ruck. Now they start to spread, and Vovo has gone back towards his left wing.
Leave it green!
And the Sharks have a scrum just right of the Griquas posts. Less than 2 minutes to play.
Well, he's only a little fellow, Marnus Skuman, and he's just a tireless worker. He's always competing for that ball. Sometimes on the offside line a little too much that he infuriates the referees, but he certainly gets in the way of quick ball for any opposition team he's playing against. He's just warming up a little hamstring there, but he's been a real workhorse here tonight.
Yeah, it really doesn't look like the Sharks want to play with any width when they get close to the goal line, does it? You know, it was about 4 or 5 times the forwards, you know, heading it up, but the Greek was good enough to keep them out, you know, and the back's not really getting any type of shape to play off the pack.
Well, you mentioned earlier that Butch James is having to make use of the cross kick at regular intervals because of backs getting involved in the drive. We saw it again there. There were only 2 players left of that ruck. Outnumbered by Griquas defenders. Plenty of space over to the right of the scrum, but in order to make use of it, they were going to have to do something that they haven't been able to do so far. Get that right shoulder working, and the Griquas wheeling away.
Well, here's that opportunity that Plum was talking about just now. The Sharks on attack in exactly the same spot.
Quickly out of the back for Boertes, and the captain is over. Second try for Jacques Boertes, his 43rd in Currie Cup rugby. It didn't look as pure as it was meant to be.
Well, you know, the ball bobbled out the back, didn't it? But, you know, maybe that confused the Griquas defence slightly, because, you know, Boats just showed some outstanding footwork there, didn't he? You know, just stepping off his right foot. And here's a great shot of it. You know, that scrum just squealed wheel slightly to the right, which is great. And yeah, we see the Griquas loose forwards just overcooking it slightly and giving Boats an opportunity to. That's right.
A bit of relief in the Sharks coaching box there, and 10, 11, 12 seconds to go. It's almost half time. There's Marnus Skuman. He's been really struggling with that hamstring, and it looks like he just got beaten on the outside there by Jacques Boertes for pace, probably because he's hurt himself.
So the Sharks hit the front on the stroke of half-time, and Butch James to add the extra 2. No problem for him. So after conceding a 13-point deficit early in the game on their home turf in their opening game, the Sharks have come back strongly. 2 tries from Jacques Boertes, a reasonably late replacement as captain, and Bob Skinstad is with Boertes pitch side.
Well, it's half-time here at the side of the field. A 2-try hero already, a last-minute replacement for Keegan Daniel Jacques. How's it going out there? They started with some better momentum than you guys, but you've turned it around.
Yeah, very much. I think they started with like a house on fire. We had to absorb it. We didn't absorb it very well, but good pressure from us towards the end of the first half, and luckily we got the points out towards the end.
It looks like it might be a little bit of rain coming. Are you going to keep the ball in the forts?
Most probably, yeah. Let's hope so.
Good luck in the second half. Well, here in Durban, it's a tough game. The Sharks have just scored to go ahead. They were trailing the Griquas after this, but so a couple of these guys may be concentrating on Women's Day. And for you, this is what SuperSport brings, something for the ladies.
How you feeling? Good, yeah. Yeah, go Bob. The try, yeah. No, not at all. Cool. Yeah, no, just, I'm going to just leave a bit of dead air for you. You know what I mean? Okay. Just the try, replay after the conversion. Just leave it for Bob.
So when the QPs
Yeah. Mostly replays are you. And what I like to do is if you've said something, I like to, in order to hear the comment box, leave it for a couple of seconds to let Bob have a say if he wants to. And if he doesn't, then I just pick up the action. Shawnee, graphics first or straight into highlights followed by graphics? Lower third? Half-time in Durban, the Sharks lead Griquas by 20 points to 16. It was Griquas who went out into a 13-point lead. They also had a lead by 16 to 13, but a late try for the Sharks saw them in front at half-time. The first try of the game scored by Magnus Skuman after a very well-coordinated line-out drive from Griquas. That try converted by Nico Schippers. Ball going to Lichturing Landman in the middle of that Griquas line-out, and beautifully controlled by Skuman at the back, unfortunately for the visiting side. Landman had to leave the field. Now, a scrum penalty going against Griquas. Charles McLeod, quick to grab the ball, take the quick tap and feed his captain, who ran the perfect support line to score the first of 2 tries for Boetus. And McLeod, who had a difficult start to the game, controlling the ball at the base of the ruck and got some awkward ball from a couple of lineouts as well. Just showing how devastating he can be on attack, drawing the attention of 3 defenders. The defense was already disorganized and Boetus on hand to effect the score. And then right on the stroke of half-time, ball being hooked very quickly through the channel to the back for Boetus, who on defensive scrums is packing on the side, but on their own feed, he stepped into the role of Keegan Daniel at number 8 and rounding off Jonathan Ardendorf, slipping as he tried to make the tackle. And so a summary of the first half. Griquas dominating early on, but from about the 12th, 13th minute, it was all the Sharks in terms of possession and territory. And they made it count with 2 tries. Griquas having to make 33 tackles. Just the one free kick conceded for a skew put in at the scrum. Territory reasonably even, but increasingly the game being played in the Griquas half of the field, and the Sharks starting to assert their dominance. They lead by 4 with 40 minutes to play. Half-time in Durban, the Sharks lead by 20 points to 16, and Brad McLeod Henderson, the Sharks coach, spoke to us during the half-time break.
Brad, flying start by the Griquas, but you seem to have managed to stem that tide and turn around in your favour.
Yeah, Bob, a very tough first 15 minutes for us, but luckily the boys have dug in there and we're back on the right track. So hopefully we'll keep it up, and hopefully looking forward to a good second half.
Little injury to Keegan Daniel. Jacques Botha stepped in and he scored 2 tries already, but that's what you get from a guy with that kind of experience.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have Jacques. He's a fantastic rugby player and a fantastic person. So he's leading the boys fantastically out there, and hopefully that continues in the second half.
Good luck for the second half and enjoy.
Oh, thanks very much.
Well, some changes. And Jaco van Tonder has replaced Sizo Maseko at half-time for the Sharks. And Bob Skinstad spoke about Marna Skuman, open sider for Griquas, try scorer for Griquas in the first half. He hasn't appeared, and Karel Greef has replaced him. So some real disruption for Griquas, with Lichturum Landman having to leave the field early in the game. So Jaco Nevgen went to the second row, Jonathan Ardendorf into the blindside flank position. Now they've lost Marna Skuman as well. And it's Griquas who get the second half underway, taken by Marco Wenzel. Hilton Lobbits working hard at the restart. He has shown an exceptional work rate throughout the first 40 here in the colours of his new province. Now Cooper peeling away on the short side. Greef with a tackle. And Ardendorf quickly over the ball to effect a steal. Sharks getting themselves a little isolated. Amnisi left it behind and picked up beautifully by the Sharks by Whitehead and Van Tonder. Didn't see much of Tim Whitehead on his return game in the first half. Sharks opting to play quite a forward-dominated game as they conceded that 13-point deficit early in the half, clawed their way back. Daisel with the carry, then McLeod. Chadwick.
Release! Now play on.
Now Cooper. Sharks absolutely dominating the possession statistics in the latter stages of the first half, and
knock into touch.
showing the same intent early in the second.
Yeah, I think Butchie a little bit impatient there. You know, probably the wide option wasn't on. You know, probably should have looked at Lawazi coming back on the inside, or a change of angle. You know, that was in a difficult situation at all for Griquas to defend.
Voordeel gespeeld, van de 2 keer. Toen zeg ik het wel niet zo goed uitvallen. Oh nee, sorry.
Continue to put up those stats and those memories of Currie Cup history. Birgit Geldenhuys and Naas Botha, 11 Currie Cup finals. They both won 9 of them.
Straight feet, please. Crouch! Bind! Set! Steady! Ball!
This has been a fascinating part of the contest. The Griquas scrum certainly dominant. The only one where they conceded anything in the first half
Tackle only.
was when they conceded a penalty, having apparently been dominant. And Charles McLeod was quick to take the tap penalty that led to the first of Jacques Botha's 2 tries. James for Daisel. Short side goes McLeod. James.
Play on.
Good kick chase from Jaco van Tonder. Certainly looked as though he might have been held in that tackle, but allowed to get up and play. Boertus doing the cover work. Here's Odwin Ndungane.
Yeah, it's all right.
Beautiful step from Whitehead. The pass not quite so good.
Flank! Play on. Yes, on.
Whitehead has stayed down and is limping pretty badly. Ndungane.
Yes.
Haven't seen him kick often in this game. He's preferred to return the ball in hand.
Tackle only.
Amnisi backing himself against the Sharks' loose forwards. Kutsia, arm over the tackle beautifully. Krief and Lovitz. That is a fabulous score. But is it a score? Because Jason Jafta has already signalled that he wants the TMO to have a look. Rasta Rashavenga has indicated he thinks there may have been a forward pass.
Happy with the grounding and everything here. Just check for possible obstruction by 9 at that last breakdown, please.
I'll have a look.
It's obstruction they're looking for. Thought there may have been a forward pass in there.
Yeah, there looks to me definitely like there could have been some obstruction there, particularly I think on Dale Chadwick. However, some really nice play, wasn't it, from Griquas? You know, it was really good to see Odwin and Ghani counter-attacking.
Okay.
Some lovely counter-attacking work also from the Griquas side.
So there's nothing wrong with the pass to Hilton Lovett, so he can rule out forward pass, certainly.
You see.
Hy was nie grond toe geneem nie. Toe staan hy op. Toe vind die dood van plaas. Toe los hy die bal. Toe tel hy hom weer op. John.
So Amnisi was the man who backed himself around the fringes.
John.
Now this is where the obstruction possibly comes on Jean Deysel. Kutsia definitely goes around the back of his own player.
Yeah, it's a little bit harsh because Dale Chadwick came in for the wrong man. That wasn't his man. And it's
Jason?
Yes, Willie.
The green player obstructed.
Yeah, thank you.
Possibly the right
Yes.
call, but pretty tight one.
Thank you.
I think the big thing is that the Griquas player made contact with the Sharks. If there'd been no contact made there, then it wouldn't have been a problem.
Thank you. Time back on. No try obstruction now.
Yeah, tough call. Nice little break from the Griquas and good hard work. Bad news as well on the sideline for the Griquas because Lichtoring Landman has actually broken his thumb. That's why we didn't see him back on the field. He would have been useful at the line-out that's about to happen.
Rasa, in front for more formation, please. Thank you.
Well, it's Women's Day in South Africa today, and all the ladies and all the girls were offered free tickets to the Shark Tank this evening. Oh, they made an awful hash of that now.
Number 2 in front of the man who last played.
Not only did the knock-on come, but the Sharks playing the ball in front of the knock-on as well, conceding the penalty.
Yeah, Matt, just as an aside as well, I mean, who could think of any more romantic place to be than this wonderful stadium on a Friday evening on Women's Day? Wonderful opportunity for some of the romantic men to bring their partners along.
And that was a lovely, lovely touch kick, wasn't it? Good 45 metres. Once again we see the Sharks line out, not really securing clean ball, and not being able to launch and set a target.
So Grick was back onto the attack. Jaco Nepgen in the middle of that line out. It was a bit of an awkward take. There was a contest from the Sharks and there was a knock-on. So just a scrum advantage being played.
What's forward line out? Yes.
Well, you guys made a comment earlier about that man Howard Amnisi. I think he's had a fantastic game. He's cut back in nicely, got over the advantage line when he has. This is the little knock-on. You can see it from Marco Wenzel. That's experience for you, just trying to disrupt this quality of the ball. And he's succeeded only on that time in giving away a knock-on, but often you do get away with that. The disruption of the opposition ball is vital in tight games like this.
Still walking at feet 9. Crouch!
Well, so far, the
bind
new scrum engagement sequence, a resounding success from what we've seen this evening. certainly improved the scrumming contest. We've also seen a free kick for a ball not being put in straight, which has been the lament of so many rugby supporters and players for the last few years.
Tackle only, not anymore. Rock now. Come back 10.
Ardendorf took that at a fair pace, but stopped dead in his tracks by a very disciplined Sharks defence. Almost the first time that JP Nell has touched the ball on attack in this game. Prinsloo.
Tackle only.
Then Kutsia. Brimmer on the switch to Mnisi. Once again, makes a good contribution going forward. He's really kept Sharks defenders busy. Mnisi again. Beautiful. Slicing through the break.
Sayon.
Now Kutsia. Mnisi has set them up with a brilliant attacking platform here. 2 excellent contributions from the centre on Currie Cup debut. JP Nell working hard there in the ruck situation. Advantage, Griquas. And now Brimmer. Well, he didn't really have much option. If you look to his right, there was one loose forward in Burger Skuman, the number 8, offering himself as a pass option. Most of the backs caught up in that ruck. And the penalty is against Brainard Stander.
Yeah, perhaps on that occasion there, maybe a higher contestable from Francois Broda being a bit option. But again, Howard Mnisi, exposing John Dazel, and what a great little break from him. If that pass had found some hands, it would have probably been a try in the left-hand corner. But, Greek was profiting from giving the ball a little bit of width now. Earlier they were just hammering it off 9. Now Francois Brimmer's a little bit more confidence and they're playing a little bit wider and stressing the Sharks' defence.
Nico Skeppers, 3 penalties and a conversion so far in the game. This is easiest kick of the night and reduces the Sharks' lead to just a single point. Cobus Reiner waiting in the wings, eager to get his opportunity. Piet Marais behind him. And Craig Burden as well. So looks as though the Sharks are going to be making multiple changes shortly. Griquas have had no option.
Inside cell. Use it!
Wonderful work from Charles McLeod, piling the pressure on Brimmer, and Stander was there to make the steal as well. Away to Cooper. McLeod, Stander again. Away to Chadwick and then Daisel.
Stay outside.
Rick was not overcommitting at ruck time there, just spreading their defence. Ndungani for Boertes.
Play on. Tackle only.
A little isolated were the Sharks. They were outnumbered at the breakdown. They did really well to rescue that situation. Odwa Ndungani doing a lot of hard work.
Onside. Stay on.
Now Kyle Cooper again, trying to re-establish the momentum after just temporarily lost.
Felicia, take your balls available. No, it's okay, balls available.
McLeod for Wenzel. And Crick was won a penalty at the breakdown there after a sustained period of Sharks attack.
Yeah, well, once again we see the Sharks playing too much off 9. The backs got some nice shape right, and they didn't use them, and just getting way too predictable around that area. and allowing the Griquas to dominate the advantage line in terms of the defence. So really the Sharks just have to get a little bit more width to their attack, and I think that's something that they like doing. But right now we're just being a little bit predictable.
Yes.
Well, as you see all the changes being run just from the side of the field here,
4 black off.
I can tell you that the rain is coming down. It's not quite pelting down yet, but it looks like, and you can see it on your screen there, it looks like it's settling in for a while. A 1-point game, not the kind of conditions that the men from that country see all the time, but certainly will stop either side from playing the kind of expensive rugby that might make a difference.
Not yet. Get them over, please.
So Charles McLeod replaced by Kobus Reinach. Re-establishing himself in the Super Rugby season, McLeod is first choice. But still plenty of healthy competition in that position. Talking of competition, good contest on the throw to Hilton Lobbits at the front of that Griquas line out. Brummer under pressure from Reinach. Ndungani. Prinsloo read it well. Levick assisted the tackle, then showed the daylight, trying to get hands in over the ball. Brummer, Ardendorf left it behind. Kutsia for Lobbits. Now Carl Greff, the replacement for Mana Skuman, who left the field at half-time. Amnisi. Every single time a tackle's been made on Howard Amnisi, he's managed to release the ball. He's never died with the ball, but this time it's been turned over. And the little dart from Reinach is effective. Wow. And Ndungani was just looking to run the inside line, lost his footing at the crucial time. Amnisi back for Brummer, who makes the clearance. Telling little break from Kobus Reinach.
Yeah, well, there's some great ball. Yeah, Adi. Sorry, Adi. Adi's had a really good game tonight. He's been, busy all night. He's counter-attacking. He's working really hard, relocating out and getting some width. It's just a little bit disappointing. We haven't really seen him and Loazi used properly tonight.
First line out throw for Craig Burden. Missing the target. And a turnover ball for Griquas. And as the rain continues to fall and fall a little harder here in Durban, the forward battle becoming increasingly important. And Vovo has got this covered. He's going to try and get a foot over. Oh no. The ball had stopped already. He was trying to get his foot over the dead ball line. That's what you do when you're committed to the cause.
Sharks bench as well. They've made the smart move and pulled the brollies out. Probably a couple of the players who've just come off a little bit too hot for it, but it definitely is coming down. It's going to affect the kind of game, and John Plumtree was just saying upstairs how both of these sides needed to be a little bit more expansive and open the game up.
Carl Greff, very uncompromising in the tackle. It looked like another very similar obstruction to the one which had the try disallowed, but lost forward in any event. Could well have been a penalty to the Sharks there, though.
Release! 7!
Maria with the carry. This is now a penalty advantage for the Sharks. Jean Daisel plays a bit of tackle pinball.
Cannot play advantage if you're diving in like that. Time off. 6 black on blocked as well. Thank you.
So Brainard Stander has to leave the field for...
Entry of feet. I cannot play advantage like that, so I'm coming back for 7 no clear release. Yep, you're on blood.
A blood injury. The penalty is against Jaco Nebgen.
Penalty against 7 for no clear release. Yep, but then there, Sorry, in 3 off. Okay.
Sorry, ek het nog gesê tackle. Ja, wat by die eerste tackle.
Okay, nee,
ek het hom in die lug gehad.
Yeah, but tackle took place. The tackle was on the ground. Tackle is
There's just a couple of pointers from Jason. You know, the Greek was conceding a couple of penalties from breakdown now. They're just having a good chat. Now there's Tira and Tembu. You know, he had a couple of really nice opportunities in Super Rugby season now, and gathering some really experienced and exciting player. You know, loves the ball in hand and great footwork, excellent defender. So hopefully they'll have a really good 5 or 10 minutes here.
13 groen gaan af.
And another change for Griquas. It's Rocco Jansen replacing JP Nel.
Net vir 13. Time back on.
Won 4 Super Rugby caps last year for the Cheetahs. Rocco Jansen started his Currie Cup career at the Blue Bulls.
Wingers on.
Played some rugby here in Durban as well.
Get out of 10.
Windungani. No real contest as Griquas went together the up and under. And Nisi all of a sudden has become a very well marked man.
Stay outside. Run 16.
Shonett.
17 move.
It's a tactic that's worked pretty well for them so far, is this pick and drive, trying to suck Sharks defenders in around the fringes. Neither side has really played with any great expense.
Leave it.
And as we tick away towards the final quarter and the conditions get worse, it may well become a battle of the kickers.
Well, it could suit Griquas. You know, they're probably the less fancied side in terms of their width, but you know, the Sharks haven't really used their their special players that they've got out wide, and you know, maybe, you know, I don't know what it's like down there, Bob, you'll be able to let us know now. It looks like it's sort of stopped up here, so but this is probably, you know, an opportunity now for Griquas to go ahead, which is you know, going to put this young Sharks side under a little bit of pressure in the final 20.
Well, you're absolutely right. It looks like it has actually calmed down a little bit. We're just seeing that the forward play being generated by the Griquas there, and that's it, man. Jean Dazel, he just left the extra hand on the ball. Jason Jafta wasn't pleased with that. He's given him an opportunity, another opportunity, Skippers, to this time take the Griquas into the lead, but seems to have cleared up a little bit. So quite possibly, if they do start using the width, the conditions are good enough for it.
Skippers has been spot on from the kicking tee this evening. He's certainly got plenty of distance on this one. And the flags are up. Griquas back in front. Now, if you have just joined this game, Griquas went into a 13-point lead before a quarter of an hour was up. The Sharks fighting back well to take a 4-point lead at halftime by 20 points to 16, and there are the 6 kicks now, 5 penalties and a conversion. Gold by Nico Skippers, 100% record. Charge down from Buertas at the restart.
That was great play from Boats, wasn't it? That just shows young loose forwards out there, you know, chasing hard from those kickoffs, get a reward like that. And, you know, Greek was straight away under pressure.
So there will be some pressure on the throw of Griquas captain Reino Barnes. Had to reorganise their line out with the departure of Lichtour and Landman, opting to go way beyond the 15-metre line for Hilton Lobbits. Beautifully fielded by Jacques Buertas, and Mvovo ghosting past the first couple of defenders. Plenty of men out to the right for the Sharks here. Reinach, Whitehead.
Release.
Solid tackle from Howard Amnisi. Then Reinach linking with Reino Gerber through the hands of Mtembu. Buertas. Mtembu again.
Hands off!
Roberts working hard on defence that time. then Jean Duisel peeling around the corner, lost it forward, the little pop pass from Reinach. Mnisi, there is a scrum advantage as Griquas play a bit of rugby inside their own in goal. Advantage called over by Jason Jafta, good clearance. Some real composure shown by the visiting side just after regaining the lead.
Yeah, once again, it's disappointing for the Sharks, I guess. You know, that was quite good work from Kobus Reiner there, creating a little bit of space for Johnny Duisel, but, you know, the offload not quite on. You know, but once again, the Sharks will be a little bit disappointed that they haven't been able to capitalise on that, you know, that huge territory advantage, being 8 or 10 metres out, not being able to finish.
Cheapest. Yeah.
Well, Jason Jafta, jeepers, he's shown some serious composure, hasn't he? He's having a chat there with Craig Verdon, but a South African term, a little mucky, I think it was, flew right into his left eye, and he managed to cope with his right all the way through to that line-out.
Are you saying there's a one-eyed referee?
Just for a few seconds in the game.
There we go, look at Jacques Botha's stats there. You know, he's had a great game tonight. You know, 21 metres carried, you know, busy carrying. You know, his tackle stats aren't up there, but they've dominated possession. And he's won 2 turnovers over the ground. You know, he's leading the side really well tonight.
Okay, is dat nog net voor jou, Jimmy kom?
Ik kan helpen als ik kramp heb. Ik heb 3 maanden laten spelen.
White, please.
Well, Burtis has been outstanding. When you think that he wasn't named in the original 22, called up to replace Keegan Daniel as number 8, a position that he's not played often. Certainly not in the starting context. Scored 2 tries and led with distinction so far, but he's got to galvanise his troops back into a lead here on their home turf. Currie Cup finalists a year ago here in Durban. Now under pressure in the opening home game of the 2013 season. And Gous Prinsloo giving chase here. It's a well-weighted kick and pressure on Ndungane. Griquas piling into the ruck area.
Play on.
Fred Zalinger doing very well to hang on onto the field for his Currie Cup debut. Vovo quick to use the boot. Prinsloo well positioned. Now there's no one at home for the Sharks.
Get on the 10.
Over away on their right wing. Reinach got the pass to Ndungane. Another effective tackle from Mnisi though.
Use it.
Brummer back again. This time Zalinger is positioned wide back on the right and straight into touch.
Yeah, well, it didn't look like Freddie wanted to play any rugby. The Sharks don't look like they want to play too much rugby down that end of the field, and under these conditions, a little bit wet. You know, but the kicking game is so important, and I think both sides guilty tonight, not being over accurate with some of their kicking. You know, there were some opportunities for the Griquas to kick long into that left-hand corner, but they didn't see that space.
But they've been gifted an opportunity here. Scored their only try of the game through Marnus Skuman from a drive. Off a line out just a few minutes into the game. Hilton Roberts, outstanding contributor on his Griquas debut. Mnisi. The new men in this Griquas side have all stood up exceptionally well.
Backwards.
Then carried up by Steph Roberts. Ardendorf. Continue with this tactic of pick and drive. paying dividends for them now, this having started with a line out just outside the Sharks 22. Every ball carry is gaining territory, but then lost forward. All the hard work done.
Well, that was a sustained amount of pressure by the Griquas side there, and you know, luckily for the Sharks there was a mistake made, but I just think the Sharks have got to get a little bit lower around the A and B area defensively and chop those Griquas legs as they pick on those pick and goes. You know, if you tackle high around that area, you're going to allow the momentum, and that's exactly what the Griquas want.
Orlando Barnes just having a little bit of treatment on that left calf of his, but they were definitely really keen on getting over the advantage line with a pick and go. They did it for about 15 or 20 metres into Sharks territory. Just a little mistake from Elton Lobbits. They'll be disappointed with that because they were starting to get some critical speed to that momentum, which would have made a big difference.
Veerman van Zyl, 9 wins, 2 draws. Lars Botha will engage you long into the night with stories of great conquests in Currie Cup. Veerman van Zyl. 2 more Premier League Absa Currie Cup games to come tomorrow. The Golden Lions against the Free State Cheetahs, and then Western Province at home at Newlands against the Blue Bulls, and that match will be refereed by that man, Rasta Rashavenga, making his way to Cape Town tomorrow.
Set. Steady. Play on. Movement.
Cobus Reiner. Quick tap from the free kick. Not finding touch, Gous Prinsloo. Wonderful work from Jacques Boertes.
Tackle only.
Now Reiner. Zeilinger. It's a brilliant kick from Zeilinger, just not allowing any angle on the kick for Prinsloo. Reiner. There's a call from Burden. Here's Odwin Dingani. Cracks on the pace. Mvovo! Finally! Well, it was a mistake in the clearance kick, so Fred Zeilinger can take a bow. It was his accuracy in the kick that didn't allow Prinsloo the angle. Forced onto the left foot, slices off the side, and a wonderful counter.
Lovely, and you know that's there was this mistake made there by Gous Prinsloo. It's the second poor contestable kick he put up in a row, and you know the great play there from Cobus Reiner, and a lovely little offload there by Craig Burden, putting Hottie into space, and then you know Lawazi's been starved of the ball all night tonight, and he gets a pass and a try that'll put a smile on his face.
Currie Cup try number 22 for Lwazi Mvovo. Wonderful acceleration from Odwin Dingani after getting the pass from Burden. Still, towards the end of his career, one of the quickest men in the Sharks squad, and relishing this opportunity to play in the number 15 jersey. James with 2 conversions, 2 penalties so far. The Sharks 1 try away from a bonus point now with just under 13 minutes to play. No problem for Butch James. And the Sharks in front by 5.
Raneth did very well here to do the little flick inside to Burden. He held on to it long enough, and look at the acceleration from Ndungani and the celebration afterwards as he's already offloaded to his contemporary and co-winger. Brad McLeod Henderson wants him to head closer to the poles.
Deep restart from Griquas. Reiner. Skuman for Prinsloo. And it's Burger Skuman, the sole chaser on this kick, onto his opposite number, Jacques Boertes. Reiner. Away to Reino Gerber.
Thank you. Yes,
James, straight down the middle for Francois Brummer.
Get out, Green. Thank you.
Crick was only really sending one man after these up and unders. James looking for territory once more. And Brummer finally clearing for touch, but the Sharks won't mind that tactic at all. It's been a kicking contest this last period since the restart. Sharks coming out on top of it territorially.
Marco Wenzel just calming things down again at the front of the lineup. You can see his organisational skills have been honed overseas.
Jaco Nevkin very quickly through to apply the pressure on Reiner as Roberts tried to contest the throw. Burden working hard. Vovo. Sailing up for James. And Van Tonda. Some good cover work done by Rocco Janssen. Only real option for Jaco van Tonda. Very tight to the touchline.
Wasn't it good to see the Sharks using that, getting some momentum from Reino Gerber's carry and, getting a bit of width now to the game, with Fred Zinglier passing Butchie and Butchie moving the ball wide, and there was an intelligent kick on the right wing there by Jaco Tonda that stayed in field and forced the Sharks to have an opportunity now 7 or 8 metres out from the try line.
Jacques Coetzee replaced by Marnus Hicho. Started his career down at the Boerland. Team with Griquas since the 2010 season. Wins his 47th Currie Cup cap.
One, please go off. Time still off. Okay. Now you need to go off. Down here, fuck him off.
So Lawrence Adrianse coming back on. That's Steph Roberts. Very uncomfortable as he makes his way back to the bench. Adrianse had been replaced by Nick Shonett.
Time before him.
Burden. Piet Marais at the front of that Sharks lineup. Some excellent maul defence.
Numbers please, numbers please.
Yeah, that was good play from the Griquas, wasn't it? They just forced the Sharks to take that front ball and then hammered it hard from probably what looked slightly from an angle. I'd say that was probably close to being a penalty.
Looked like Nick Shonett there was doing his best to pull it down. Luckily for him, he didn't succeed with his efforts.
Let's go. Throw it. Put it in. Put it in. Put it in. Yes,
Short line out called. Nevkin the go-to man.
Line-out wasn't over. 17 came up. 10 metres offside, line-out. 17!
Yeah, if you look at that there, you can see that man there way offside before the line-out was over. That Sharks defensive line already up there, and that was an accurate call from Jason.
Yeah, Reino Gerber there just joining the line-out. Probably just very keen to get into it. Those are the penalty concessions, and as a coach or someone who's watching the game like this, that penalties you don't want to give away are the kickable ones.
Just under 8 minutes to play in Durban. Griqua's hand being forced a little now. 7 points required. Francois Brummer taking on the defence in close. Hijo to the short side for Skuman. And then Lobbits. Nisi. And a hand in there from the Sharks brings a penalty now. Interesting decision for Griquas to make here with 7 minutes to play. 2 penalties gets them back in front. Of course, they concede territory if they go for the posts.
Yeah, I think that's a wide decision. There's still 7 minutes to go in this game. The Griquas, can get territory in this game. They know that if they exit well from the kickoff, he's first got to get this, obviously. And it's always a tough decision for a captain out there with 8 minutes to go. He's 5 behind. What do you do? See the jockey Butts there, his right arm just slipping up on Howard there. It looked like a slightly high, if anything.
Yeah, I think it was Piet Maria in there as well, who managed to get a subtle hand in, not subtle enough. Skeepers to reduce the deficit again. He has 2 points it is with 6 minutes to play.
Well, he's really kicked beautifully, Skeepers, tonight. He's got a really simple approach to the ball as well, and dead straight, very accurate from some difficult areas in the field.
Sailinger's restart gave his chasers plenty of time.
Use it! He's onside.
To contest. Kobus Reiner is a terror, putting pressure on the opposition fly half. Came through like a bullet.
Fred Zinglier's kick was really good there too, wasn't it? Landed right on the money. And of course, that's part of that nine's responsibility there, applying pressure.
A little variation to the front of the line out from the Sharks. 3 tries to the good. 1 more for the bonus point. Mthembu. Now Ludek. Reinach again. Chadwick. Reinach. Plenty of running options. Ludek. Reinach again. Penalty advantage. Being played to the Sharks. Daisel.
I think you know what Jark's going to do here now. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't go for the post to get that 3 points back that they conceded a little bit earlier. I think Kobus Reiner will be a little bit disappointed with his last pass there. John Days are way too isolated.
A little bit of treatment on the field happening as well, and we've seen a couple of kicks taken from various areas of the field tonight. Craig Burden is just getting a bit of ice on that neck. With clean out in the middle of the field. And those are the ones that Butch James has been successful with. All in a very kickable area. This one very similar. Sharks using a nice bit of experience here to run down the clock a little bit, but also to go for an easy enough kick to take it back out to 7 points that the Griquas will need.
Yeah, into the final 3 minutes. 5 points the difference, so the converted try is all that'll work for Griquas now.
Yes, we can play.
Depth on the restart. Reiner returning it with some interest. Princely. Burger-Skuman, the chaser. Does well in the aerial contest with Boertes. And Griquas going forward, get the scrum.
Wasn't that a great contestable kick? Going so well taken out there. There's such a great contest there.
Nothing formed up to that.
Griquas was a little bit unlucky not to recycle that ball, wasn't it? But certainly won.
Let's go, please. Still have to work on that feed.
So one last platform perhaps for Griquas here. Nisi has been very effective in midfield when given the opportunity.
Okay, guys, come on. Time off. Sorry.
This is an absolutely huge defensive scrum for the Sharks now. They won't want to concede a penalty here and give the opportunity to for the Griquas to score a driving line out 4 or 5 metres out. So defensively, this is a huge scrum for the Sharks.
Nice also to see that the new laws have stopped too many collapses for the scrum so far, equalised a little bit possibly in the front row.
And also very few penalties. Well, they have given away the penalty that John Plumtree said they so would not want to do, to present that opportunity for a kick to the corner. Only the second scrum penalty.
There's still time for a line-up.
In 79 minutes.
That's right. There you just want to back your defence, keep your scrum straight, do all the right things, make Griquas play all the rugby to try and score, maybe force a turnover, but conceding a scrum penalty in that moment of the game is a huge blow.
Wait for him to come down.
Sharks coach's box respectfully disagreeing with that decision. Take at the front from Roberts. And Griquas getting some useful go forward as the siren for full time sounds.
Release block! Stay on!
Sharks throwing everything into disciplined defence here. Nothing less than a converted try will do for Griquas. To the short side they go, just 2 metres short.
Use it! Stay on! No hands! Stay on! Away!
Another penalty for Griquas.
That's right, move away! Move away! No, you never release
Jason
them.
Jafta
You play the
was
ball back towards your side of the ground.
Screaming at the Sharks players. It was Jean Daisel that he was picking out.
Time off. Time off. Jy het die tackle gemaak en nooit oopgemaak en die bal omgedraai na jou kant toe. Dis waarvoor die strafskop is. That's it, There
won't be any time for a set piece, so I guess we'll see a tap and go here. And the big tall timber of the Sharks pack's got to get really low here now and chop the legs of the Griquas.
Come on. No pre-release 7.
No time for the line-up. Griquas with the tap and go. Good defence first up from Piet Moran. The pick and drive tactic has worked well for Griquas. as they've built territory throughout the game. But this is when it counts most. The dive is there. Griquas are celebrating, and the Sharks players looking disconsolate. Jason Jafta is not certain, but Carl Greef believes that he has scored the try.
Yes, Jason.
Any reason for me not to award that try?
I'll have a look.
Thank you.
And as a coach, that's not the question that you want to hear.
Well, as an opposing coach, anyway.
Doesn't seem to be anything wrong with that, does there? So, but you know, the Griquas have been really tough around those edges all night, haven't they? They've picked and go really well.
Jason.
Yes, Willie.
There's no reason why not to award a try.
Thank you. Time back on try.
Well, that's incredible. Two reactions right here. The Sharks bench are just holding their heads, and the Griquas bench have gone bananas. They're absolutely delighted, and this kick goes to one of two men who've been absolutely outstanding, kicking for the points tonight.
What a way for Carl Greef to celebrate his Currie Cup debut. Scoring a try after the hooter. No time to kick for the corner for a line-out after the penalty was awarded. The scores are tied, and it comes down to this man. 7 out of 7 so far. This to win the game. Nico Skippers strikes it beautifully. Griquas have won in dramatic fashion. A perfect performance from the kicking tee from Nico Skippers. 2 tries scored, one by Marnus Skuman, and the last gasp one by the man who replaced him when he left the field injured at half-time, Carl Greef, on his Currie Cup debut. For the Sharks, 2 tries to the captain on the night, Jacques Boertes, and 1 to Ulwazi Mbobo, all of them converted by Butch James, who added 3 penalties to his tally as well. Both goal kickers 100% from the kicking tee. 3 tries to the Sharks, 2 to the Griquas. But ultimately, the 6 penalties from Nico Skippers doing the trick. Full time in Durban, the Sharks 30, Griquas 32.